Okay, I started recording.
We'll
We'll
start
start
at
at like
10:33.
10:33.
Okay.
Hi Harish.
Do
Do I pronounce it Harish or Harish?
This one.
Okay.
Okay, I think we should be good to go now.
All
Alright
right.
then.
Let us start. Welcome everyone. This workshop is about what to do in high school to prepare for a career in tech. Uh, Whoops, I forgot to unmute. Welcome everyone. This workshop is about what to do in high school to prepare for a career in tech. So finding tech opportunities in high school can be pretty challenging. In this workshop, we'll go over extracurriculars, internships, grades, and just in general how to prepare yourself for a career in tech. But first, a quick disclaimer, this doesn't work for everyone. Everyone is unique and will have a different path in life. And we urge you to make changes to this plan to fit your own needs. Don't force yourself to do exactly what we say. So yeah, do your due diligence. All right. So the main goals of this workshop are uh, well, we want to prepare you to get into your choice university, want to improve your skills and gain experience in your tech industry, and also learn to network and meet inspiring people. So we'll talk about extracurriculars, general advice for grades 9 to 12, and how to network.
So I'll begin by talking a little bit about extracurriculars. So extracurriculars, or short form ECs, are any activity or hobby that is done outside of normal school hours. Some examples of this include sports, leadership, personal projects, classes, clubs, jobs, and hackathons. Universities love to see extracurriculars because it shows that you can manage your time well enough to focus to complete your tasks and assignments, as well as having hobbies and interests outside of school. Most competitive university programs value extracurriculars almost as much as they value grades. Extracurriculars help to demonstrate your personality, your initiative and passion. You're passionate for your hobbies, your dedication. You can start something and continue it for most or all of high school, and your distinction and what sets you apart from other people. Um, it's great when you can show that your hobbies or your interests lead you into other opportunities. For example, having an interest in programming, making a personal project, and going to a hackathon would be a great example of how an extracurricular can connect with your career.
Okay.
Okay.
Um, Next slide.
All right, so there are four tiers of extracurriculars to help us better understand how universities view them. Tier 4 is the most commonly seen extracurriculars. These include basics, sports and clubs, participation awards, general volunteering, and small hobbies and interests. It's very easy to get into these extracurriculars, and they don't show a lot of distinction. You'll likely have a couple or a few of these at the end of your high school career. Some examples could be a member of the science club, working out at the gym, or learning piano by yourself. Tier 3 are like Tier 4s, but they're more competitive and they aren't available for everybody. These can include minor leadership positions in clubs, school sports, musical performances, volunteering, um, playing football, acting in musicals, and Tier 3s help to show universities your passions and that you're set apart from other individuals.
Okay, next in Tier 2, we have the ECs that demonstrate a high level of leadership or achievement. So, for example, doing well in competitions and contests like math contests, science fairs, tournaments, sports, hackathons, etc. Uh, Also, like being a president or a leader in a club, summer jobs, and etc. This shows universities your dedication and distinction, and yeah, you should aim for like a couple of these by the end of your high school career. And next is tier 1, the impossible, really impressive stuff. So for example, getting like an honor roll or national award for something, or summer internships at a big company. And these are like pretty hard to get, so don't worry if you don't have any. Um, but what's important is that all your extracurriculars are useful. You should aim to have like a good balance of extracurriculars from different tiers, especially because like the harder extracurriculars will require more time and effort. So you don't want to like only aim for tier one because that's not gonna happen most likely.
All right, now we'll move on to a basic timeline of what you should expect to see and do in all your grades of high school. So starting with grade 9, you should be focusing on getting your interests, dipping your toes into the water, and finding out what works and what doesn't work for you. So grade 9 is your first year in high school. It's probably your first time experiencing a more difficult workload compared to other grades. So you should be testing out what works, what doesn't work, and what your interests are. Your grades don't really matter too much in grade 9 and grade 10, so you should do more clubs and extracurriculars instead of focusing on schoolwork. In terms of finding interests, you should go to different clubs and societies that you normally wouldn't, attend hackathons, and generally get used to being in the tech community. Try to get some strategies for studying and organization to prepare yourself for the busier workload of higher grades. And most importantly, try to have some fun because there won't be a lot of that in the next couple grades.
I just want to add something.
In
In grade
grade
9,
9, don't just focus on like being a coder in the future. Like in grade 9, that's your time to explore and try new things. So you can, do some things in other fields like art or like music, something like that.
All right, now moving on to grade 10. In grade 10, you should focus on immersing yourself further into the tech community. You want to get some more tier 2 and tier 3 extracurriculars, and it's kind of like an extension of grade 9 in the fact that grades don't matter as much, so you should still be focusing on your extracurriculars. Do some personal coding projects and go to more hackathons if you've discovered that you have an interest in tech. And I would try very hard to get some sort of summer job or internship in the summer of grade 10, or at the very least, do some volunteering. Find ways to organize your time to prepare for higher grades. And in terms of immersing yourself, go to hackathons. I found that they're some of the best ways to learn programming concepts and, most importantly, meet new people, which is great because that's what all of you are doing right now. You want to gain connections and meet people who have more experience than you because they can give you advice and guidance to help you along your career path. Meeting people who have more experience than you is one of the best ways to get into tech. They can give you advice, referrals, and even a reviewed resume for you. Hackathons are filled with like-minded people who were once in your position and can help you along your journey. So you want to really get into the community of tech and immerse yourself to prepare for when you really do need some sort of internship.
Okay, next is grade 11. In grade 11, you should focus on getting good grades, getting like some work experience, and just still doing your extracurriculars. And you can even try to like get an internship or go to SHAD, which is like a high school program for grade 10s and 11s, and just further immerse yourself, try to explore new things, and yeah. Grade 11, though, is a time to focus because now your grades actually sort of start to matter. Because, like usually universities will look at your grade 12 grades and sometimes your grade 11 grades. So in grade 11, you might have like a couple personal projects, maybe a couple like extracurriculars like sports and stuff. But you should mainly be focusing on getting like more tier 2 and tier 1 extracurriculars. For example, like math, science contests, internships, etc. And yeah, again, focus on your grades because grade 11 marks are somewhat important. And if you can get good grades in grade 11, then you have a very good chance of getting high grades in grade 12.
Yeah, so I just wanted to add a little bit to that. So in grade 11, I've seen that a lot of people kind of slack off in terms of their work because they probably tried pretty hard in grade 10 to get their grades up, and they know that their grades don't really matter until grade 12, so they're focusing on other stuff. But I think that you should try extra hard to get those opportunities in grade 11, which really sets you apart compared to other students, and it will really prepare you well for university.
Okay, next is grade 12. In grade 12, you should really focus on your grades because this is really important, especially if you're trying to get into a competitive university program. So try hard to get good grades. Prepare your essays and like applications for university. Remember to also apply to scholarships because those are quite useful. You know, it's basically just free money if you're talented and you're willing to put in that effort to write those essays. Also, do some side projects if you have time. Uh, and yeah, grades in grade 12 do matter quite a lot for university. Like, so focus on grades in grade 12.
All right, now to answer some of your questions, talk about some cool programs that you should definitely apply to. So the first is SHAD. So SHAD is basically kind of like a summer camp. You can think of it like a summer camp, and it's a 1 month program to attend workshops and spend your entire time at at a university in Canada of your choice. So, for example, I could go to McMaster University this summer, attend workshops, and learn a bit about the life there. So SHAD aims to help you get a sense for what it's like to be a university student. It costs 6,000 Canadian without any financial benefits, and it lasts 1 month, and you're staying there the whole time. So I think it's a pretty good deal. SHAD is mainly for getting connections, which is very useful, like I said before. So if you really need some connections, I would recommend going to SHAD. Another thing is Hack the North. So Hack the North is a kind of optional because it's one of the biggest hackathons in the world, but it doesn't really give you too much benefit. It's quite competitive and is one of the best places to gain experience and get some connections. It's also a hackathon, so it's if you just apply just for fun, don't expect to get in. And it's mainly for university students, so it doesn't really apply right now. And the last thing I want to talk about is Google CSSI, which stands for Computer Science Summer Institute. It's a summer internship offered by Google for students who have an offer in a CS or similar major. So if you've graduated grade 12 and you have an offer to a CS program, this would be for you. Google CSSI is a 6-week program during the summer where you can learn about being an intern at Google and you're getting a career in the future there. So I would definitely recommend, but this is also after you've graduated high school. So seizing opportunities. I want to talk a little bit about this. One of the biggest pieces of advice that I can give to you for seizing opportunities is to be confident in yourself. Thinking pessimistically or being scared is the biggest reason people don't get the opportunities they want. Even if you think you're incapable, you probably are not, and you never know, right? So you might get lucky once, and that will cause so many more opportunities to just landslide and be provided to you. The biggest tip I can give for you is to just commit to the bit, just apply, just go there and see what happens, right? The worst case scenario, you don't get accepted, you don't get in, but best case scenario, you do, and you just get way more opportunities off of that.
Another thing I would like to mention is that for scholarships and uni applications, sometimes you can write like 1 or 2 essays, and you can reuse those essays for a lot of different like applications, which is really good because you don't have to like redo all your essays for every single program. You can just sort of tweak it a little bit and then resubmit it to another scholarship.
So in terms of networking, networking is basically talking to other people in the tech community to get advice from them. So most young people in the tech community are very nice and are willing to give advice to younger or less experienced individuals. In my experience, hackathons are a great place to meet new people, and I encourage you to talk to people in our Discord to get advice. We also have 6 amazing organizers who all have a lot of experience and have a lot of advice to share. So if you ever need any sort of advice, feel free to ask in our Discord.
Right. So that's about it. Thank you for listening. But before we leave, does anyone have any questions? Like about pretty much anything. Like we're happy to answer any questions that you have. And feel free to just unmute. You don't have to like say it in the chat or anything. So yeah. If you don't have any questions, then I hope you've learned something from this workshop, or at least found it entertaining. And
Oh yeah, we should talk about that. So, someone asked, do we really need college to make a career in tech? And I think that the answer to this is probably not. I know a lot of individuals, and one of our sponsors, Recall AI, who have either dropped out of post-secondary or didn't go to post-secondary at all, and just went straight to making a startup or learning more about tech. If you really believe in yourself and you think that you're able to become stable and make a business or make a startup without going to university, go for it. There's nothing. It's a risk that you're gonna have to take eventually. So if you really don't want to go to university and you think if you're really passionate and you're confident that you can make something work, then I would just say go for it. So yeah, the answer to that is you don't really need college to make a career in tech, but it definitely makes it easier.
I will say that like for finding jobs, like finding software engineering jobs, going to university is really useful because a lot of the job requirements actually say like you have to be in like a undergraduate, for example, at some university. Now, if you don't want to just like find a job at some big company, you can like create a startup or like join a startup or something like that. Like for those things, you don't have to have like a university degree to do that. And yeah, so like when deciding whether or not you want to go to university, you have to think about like what you want to do after high school. Like, do you want to just have a job at a big company like Google? Do you want to do entrepreneurship, something like that? So yeah, that's like a big factor in whether or not you should go to university. Okay, so I also asked, doing open source, learning in public, having a great portfolio, and being active in the tech community really helps to get a job. What do you think? Yeah, that's very true. Open source is very useful because like if you can like contribute to open source and your code gets reviewed and accepted, that like is basically like a certification that you can write functional code, like good code, and that looks really good to companies. Learning in public, having a great portfolio. I'm not really sure what you mean by learning in public. So yeah, having a great portfolio, obviously, like that's like your resume. You want people to, sharing what you learned. Yeah, like if you're talking about like teaching people, that is also, um, that's also very useful. Like if you can teach people, you can put that on your resume. It shows that you know your stuff. Would blogging help? That's a good question. I'm not sure if it's helpful for like getting into university. Like, if you blog, obviously you could write about it, but it obviously depends on the quality of your blogging, like what kind of things you blog about, that sort of stuff. But yeah, I'm not exactly sure if blogging is useful. Yeah, surely helps with expanding network and clearing your own concepts. Yeah, that's definitely true. Like, you can if you can write good blogs, you can get to know like cool people that read your blogs. That's always useful. So yeah.
So I just want to say, in terms of getting a job, employers are half looking for like a good past experiences and good skills, and the other half is looking for dedication and interest in the field. So if you can show that you contribute to open source, that you make personal projects, that you have an extensive portfolio, that's almost as necessary as having work experiences and awards and whatnot. Someone asked, how can we showcase personal projects? Great question. Let me show you this. So what I like to do is I spend some time to make a website, to make a personal website. Here's the link. So yeah, GitHub and a personal website. So you can click on the link, and then I've attached this to my resume. So employers can see my portfolio. They can see all my past projects and my experiences here. And there's even a link to my resume. So I think making a personal website is a great way to show your interest and your skilled ability to make a website for yourself. Can I connect with you all over Twitter or somewhere? Yeah, for sure. You can go on LinkedIn. All of us have a LinkedIn profile. You can connect with us there. I believe it is all linked on the ClockHacks website on the team page.
And also adding on to Jeffrey, for showcasing personal projects, like just to clarify, do you mean like showcasing it to like university, or showcasing it on your resume, or just showcasing it to just like friends and stuff? Because it is slightly different. If you just want to like have a resume is university, okay. Then yeah, for university applications, you will just like write essays about like what you accomplished, what sort of challenges you overcame, things like that. In resumes, you sort of want to just highlight the coolest parts about your personal project, because resume is just text, right? So you can just have a few blurbs about your personal project there. And for getting jobs, yeah, personal projects are extremely useful for all of these. Like for showcasing them, I'd recommend just putting like a link to either a website or like a GitHub repository or something like that inside your resume. And if your employer is interested, they can actually go check it out. So yeah. Sometimes it would depend on what your personal project is, though. For example, if you made like a hardware thing, then you might want to just like link to a website that has some pictures or something like that. But if you made like a website or something, that's much easier to showcase. Where are you currently in education, school or college? I'm personally in grade 12 right now in high school, going to university next year. Jeffrey is in grade 10. You're in grade 11? Nice. Middle. All right. Any other questions, or you guys can just like chat if you want about anything, to be honest.
Yeah, so I want to talk a little bit about, like you said before, displaying your experiences and your projects. So obviously, when you submit when you apply to a job, you're going to need to submit a resume. And in my opinion, the resume is just to highlight your coolest or your most impressive experiences. So maybe like 1 or 2 personal projects, and definitely your work experiences. But on your LinkedIn profile, your LinkedIn profile is basically like an extension of your resume. Normally put on your resume onto your LinkedIn profile. You can think of it like your resume, but that's where all the sources are linked, and it has it has basically more write-up about your resume. And a lot of people stress themselves over the design of the resume, and the best advice that I can give for this is to just not worry about the design too much. Design it so that it's easy to read, because catching the reader's attention and making it easy to read is the most important part about the design of your resume, right? So making it easy to read, and like it doesn't have to be really like nice to look at, but making it easy to read what you're actually saying is the most important part. So I would focus on that.
Unless you are like a graphic designer or UI designer, your resume doesn't need to be super fancy. It can just be like a white page with black text on it. It can be pretty basic like that. Yeah. Jay and Jeffrey, you both are? I'm not sure what you mean. Yeah, we're both organizers, if that's what you mean. Names. I'm Jay Ren. Jeffrey is Jeffrey Zhang. What should I display on my LinkedIn? I know jobs are important to be on there, but what else? So on LinkedIn, there are like a bunch of sections about things that you can fill out. There's like a skills section, which is pretty useful. You can just talk about like tech that you've used before, things that you're good at. Is it okay to use LinkedIn if I'm under 16? Well, Jeffrey is under 16 and he's using LinkedIn, so yeah, it should be fine.
Yeah, I have a funny story about this. So one day I was like, all right, I'm going to have to apply to a job soon. I better make a LinkedIn profile. And so I went onto LinkedIn, I filled out all my information, took like half an hour, and then it said like, you're under 16, you can't make a LinkedIn profile. And I was like, oh no. I close the tab, I open it again, and it lets me in. So it's just like, I feel like it's pretty okay to use LinkedIn if you're under 16. Just close the tab and open it again, because LinkedIn, like they're super greedy for new users. So yeah, that's what I would say about using LinkedIn when you're under 16. Like there are a lot of people who are using LinkedIn under 16, and it's not too big of a problem because you're not really sharing too much personal information there, other than your face. But
someone asked, can college students participate too? Yes, but your team has to be like more than 50% high school students, and also you have to like register before you can participate. Yeah. And also just like adding on to what Jeffrey said, like for your LinkedIn profile, add your personal projects, add your volunteer experience, add your awards or distinctions, stuff like that. Because as a high school student, obviously, you probably won't won't have had many jobs, so you just have to like talk about everything tech related that you've done so far. So yeah, hope that answers your question. How's your projects going, everyone? Hope you guys made some solid progress. Is everything going well?
like, okay, it's only the second day, and there's still like 24 hours. Yeah, there's only 24 hours left. So I mean, plenty of time, right? Like there's people who have like made a project in like 8 hours and still won an award. So really, no worries.
What? Coding monitor is yours. Coding monitor? That's just a normal monitor. Like
Jay, just link to your monitor. They want your tech stack.
Oh,
like
it's like
you
you
want
want
to
to
know
know
what
what
model
model
it
it
is?
is?
Oh, the vertical one. I mean, here, I don't even know what it's called.
It's just a monitor sideways.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
just a
a
sideways
sideways
monitor. And also,
Dude,
technically, my
monitor
monitor is
is
not
not
my
my monitor.
like my.
My-
Here,
Wait,
let me show you my monitor setup. It's actually really cool. So I have a TV here, I have a vertical monitor here, and then I have another monitor here. And that is Jeffrey! Yay! We're in the same room right now. So yeah.
Yeah, if you guys like ever need any help with coding or anything, you can just feel free to ask in the ClockHack server. There's 2 tech help channels and there's a voice channel. So if you need help with anything coding related or about your project, feel free to ask there. When is submission due? Okay, so submission is due in exactly 24 hours tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern time. So I don't know what time that is for you, but it's in exactly 24 hours from now. You have to submit a 2 to 3 minute pitch video.
I'm gonna send a friend request? Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just going to send the link to our dev post where you're going to submit your project. Be sure to add yourself and your team on dev post.
Alright, I think there are no more questions for now. So I think we'll just wrap it up here. Oh, you have another question? Go ahead. You have to make a video? Yes. You have to make a 2 to 3 minute pitch video.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be too fancy. Doesn't have to have editing or anything. Basically just say the problem that you're trying to solve with your project. Say the process that you use to make it, and be sure to have a demo of your project. Ooh, and here's for creating a new hackathon. Okay, don't make it in 2 months.
Yeah. And find like at least 4 or 5 people to do it with you.
If you want to go in person, you need like 12 people. So
No,
No,
probably
probably
more than 12. And you need like volunteers.
yeah, you're probably right.
And,
Yeah.
oh, another tip is like when you're estimating how much time something takes, always double what you think it's going to take. That way you have lots of buffer time. Don't overestimate yourself.
That way you're not finishing your opening ceremony slide the day before the opening ceremony.
Yeah, which is totally enough. Totally enough.
Hmm. And if you want to make a new hackathon, be sure to have some sort of experience with organizing a hackathon first. Because like I don't know, like personally I wouldn't just make a hackathon with like no knowledge whatsoever. But it's basically what I did for Clock Hacks. Speaking of organizing a hackathon, Hack the Six just released their organizer applications. So
Any tips for applying to become a hackathon organizer? Just apply and write what you need to write. Like,
just pray really hard.
No, you're not. Like, write about why you're qualified.
Oh. Hey Neil, how is your day going?
Hey guys, doing good. How about you? Just popping in.
We already finished like a presentation.
Oh, sweet. Nice.
What, do you have to need to be a hackathon organizer? I don't think so. I mean, I'm not in university, and I'm not a hackathon organizer.
Dude, I'm barely in high school.
Do you need like prior work experience? No. I think the Hack the Six you do need to be in uni. Oh, well that would be like specific to that.
Hack the Six? I haven't seen that anywhere, but like if it doesn't say like specifically, you should just still apply because what's the worst thing gonna happen?
In the form, I asked you just like what year of university you're in.
Yeah, but Clock Hacks also asks that, right? So
Oh.
actually, yeah, you're probably right. Your keyboard is very loud.
Are you like?
So Li Fang, in terms of Clock Hacks, we're probably gonna have organizer applications for next year sometime in December or January. So I would highly encourage you to apply. I mean, we all start somewhere, right? Like, if you have no experience, like, if you just take the time to like learn and create something that you're proud of, it's gonna work out, right? So we all start somewhere. We all start from square one.
I mean, I feel like you had a lot of chances since you got happy math and then like kind of like snowballed into like more like better things.
Exactly, right? So you just have like,
but
yeah, you
I
have to
don't
make.
have any like happy math experience like that, and I still have no projects. So like,
Yeah, but one day you're gonna get something, and then it's also gonna snowball, right? And then some guy's gonna drop out of the sky, right?
probably not Clock Hacks.
Yeah, and then, like Jay's gonna randomly message you on Discord, being like, "Do you wanna do all the work for Clock Hacks?"
Wait, what?
I mean,
We
they
need
probably
a great fan who isn't too busy to do all the work for us.
I think there were probably like more people like applying for clock hacks, including grade 12s.
Okay. In terms of clock hacks, if you think about it, a lot of grade 12 don't have a lot of time to do work, so we probably want people who are in lower grades who have extra time to do stuff, right? Like me.
Are you saying that grade 10s have an advantage over grade 11s and 12s?
Yeah, depends, right? Like, in terms of clock hacks, we would want as much work to be done as possible in a short amount of time, right? So we want to target people who have extra time to do work. So in the application, probably ask how many hours how many hours would you like to commit per week, and depending on that number, we can determine who's a better candidate.
May I ask like what kind of work is like in hackathons? Like what you do?
Depending on your role, you might have like okay, so there's just off the top of my head, there's co-lead, tech, which is like the website, Discord, etc. Sponsorship, which is reaching out to sponsors, talking to sponsors. Finance, which is organizing the money that you get from sponsors, and marketing, which is like the Instagram and getting people to join your hackathon. This is for an online hackathon. There's less roles.
I may be wrong, but isn't like creating like a website for a hackathon like kind of easy?
Well, you're good at coding, so probably easier for you.
No, I'm not gonna code it, but like just like
Dude, the clock hack stuff, it took me like 2 months to get into a good form. Okay, the thing with hackathon websites is that they have to be updated very, very often. So when you're making it, you have to keep in mind, like, updating it often, right?
And maintainability.
Yeah.
Hey, am I audible? Hey, I wanted to ask, like, how to manage time with school studies and this whole coding and tech. Like, I need to learn web development and a lot of stuff I'm passionate about, but there's like mathematics, physics, and all school subjects that are really, I mean, you can understand it's really big. So, like, is there any advice you would like to give for managing?
One piece of advice I would give is to, like when you're working on your personal projects, try to do like a very short amount of time, but do it every day. So like try to do like 10 minutes of work on your personal projects every single day, and then you can sort of increase that as you get more comfortable with it. Obviously, like school is still really important, so don't like sacrifice your grades to do personal projects or anything like that. But just start small and then gradually get better at like time management and things like that.
So you're probably
Yeah.
you're probably doing something like this already, but I would definitely use a calendar and a task list app like Todoist or Habitica to keep track of your homework and all your hobbies and whatnot. But a calendar, I think, is the most important because once you're like in like grade 12 and you have a lot of clubs, you have a lot of stuff going on, you definitely want to keep track of your time. So just start using productivity apps like Google Calendar, Habitica, etc.
Yeah, I have some kind of a plan and like a priority list what I need to do in Notion. So that's it. But still, like it becomes hard a lot of times, and I cannot manage to give time to both of those. And I'm like opposite. I cannot sacrifice my learning in tech for the grade. Like the opposite of what you're saying.
That makes sense. What I like to do is every single day, like in the morning, I just make a schedule for myself for the day, and then I just follow that schedule. I think it helps me be a bit more productive.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Lee Fang,
I was just gonna piggyback off of both your answers and say a lot of hackathon organizers do something called time boxing, which is essentially they look at whatever project or school assignment or whatever, and they sort of break it down based off of time of what they think how long it'll be done, and then they slate it out into a calendar, like Jeffrey was saying, and then that's sort of how you kind of time manage it. And if it works out, great. If it doesn't, but that's another strategy to try to incorporate your hobbies within your school.
Yeah, and the best part about being young is like we can experiment and explore what works for us.
All right, if there isn't too much else, we'll probably wrap up. Thanks everybody for coming. I hope you have a great rest of the weekend and happy hacking.
Goodbye, everybody. Take care.
alright.
Alright.
See ya.
Yeah.